"That was you, wasn't it?" said Johanna the next evening, when Mr. Phigg dropped in. He grinned and raised an eyebrow. "What was?" "Liston Biggles here, radio news." "Well, I thought I'd come and see what was going on. It's good to keep in touch with the grey world, and to test my disguises. He's horrible, isn't he, that Darby Ostler? Well, I didn't take to him, I must say. He reminds me of someone else, you know, but I can't think who it is. I'm sure it'll come to me." "How are things at bed quarters?" asked Harry. It was quieter last night. There were nightmares prowling around again, but they didn't get too close to the flock. Simon's worried about the number of bad dreams that are out there, though. We're counting more every night now. The nightmares seem to be getting stronger and stronger. "Lizzie said she had a bad dream last night," said Johanna. "She dreamt she'd been kidnapped. She was tied up tight and bundled in a filthy old sack. When she told Molly in the morning, it turned out she'd dreamt the same thing." "Molly dreamt she'd been kidnapped as well?" "No, she dreamt that Lizzie had been kidnapped, and the tying up and the sack, on the same night that Lizzie was dreaming it too. That's odd, isn't it?" Mr. Phigg frowned. "That's very odd. People don't share dreams, not without some outside interference. And I didn't know the nightmares could do that, if it was the nightmares. But why would they? It's all very puzzling." Johanna gulped. "So, they were pretty scary already, but the nightmares are learning new tricks and getting even more dangerous?" "That's right. We're going to need some more help from somewhere. But where?" There was a long pause while they all thought hard. "Well," said Johanna at last, "if the nightmares are spreading bad dreams, I suppose we need someone who can bring good dreams." "Yeah, right," Harry snorted, but then stopped short when he saw the grin on Mr. Figg's face. "Aha! Clever girl. Why didn't I think of that? The bringers of good dreams. I think we might take another trip tomorrow. Are you doing anything after school?" "No," said Johanna. "There's another march on Friday, up to the windmill this time, but we'll be here tomorrow." "Good. We need to have a word with the... time for me to go now." The children had heard their mum's footsteps on the stairs too. When they turned back round, Mr. Phigg had slipped away. "Hello, Mum," said Harry. "Don't you hello mum me, young man. I've got a bone to pick with you. What have you got to say about this?" She waved the sheepskin hearth-rug around in front of her. "Look at it, stuffed in a carrier bag in the corner. You didn't even bother to hide it properly. It's filthy. How did you manage to get it in this state? If I didn't know better, I'd say there was a hoof print here. And I trusted you with it. Well, what have you got to say for yourself?" "Sorry, Mum. Sorry, Mum." Luckily for Harry, the phone rang at that point, and his mum went to answer it. And by the time she came back, there were other things on her mind. "That was Molly," she said, her face pale. "She's been suspended." "What does that mean?" asked Harry. "She's not allowed to work at the school until there's been some sort of an investigation. Someone from the town hall rang the head and said that what he called her political activities were not in keeping with her role as a teacher. They've said she must stay away from the school until it's all been looked into." Johanna was outraged. "What? Is this about her going to the meeting and organising the march?" "She doesn't know what else it might be. She's never been very interested in politics. Did she say anything about the march at school?" "Only when I asked her about it before class," Harry replied, "and then she said that everyone had to make up their own mind about it. She hasn't done anything wrong. I'll tell them." "Well, I'm sure it will all come out right in the end, but it's very strange and horrible for poor Molly. And horrible for us too, said Harry. She's a proper teacher. We'll probably get someone hopeless standing in, like Mr. Grundy. Harry did not get on well with his science teacher, or with most teachers. His standards were high, and rather different from theirs. We can still go on the march on Friday, though, can't we, Mum? Asked Johanna. Yes, I think so. I don't see how this changes things, though I wonder if somebody thought it might. The rest of the evening passed uneventfully, and the children went to bed. About 3:15 the next morning, at exactly the same time, both Johanna and Harry suddenly gasped and sat upright in their beds. They tumbled out and headed for each other's rooms, meeting on the landing. I had a dream, hissed Johanna, and you were in it. Well, I had a dream, and you were in it, Harry replied. In the faint glow from the street lamp outside the window, each saw the fright in the other's face. We were walking towards the windmill. We were crossing the field when I heard them coming. Their hooves were thundering on the ground. The noise just got louder and louder, and I called out, but there was nobody there to help us. And then we were surrounded by 3 enormous black horses, rearing in the air and neighing and neighing. And it was like they were laughing at us and coming closer and closer. And one head just right in front of my face with its hot breath and hoarse smell, and then it spoke. Harry and Johanna stared at each other in amazement and said the same words together. Stay away from here, human child. We had exactly the same dream at exactly the same time, said Johanna. This is worse than what happened to Lizzie and Molly. It can't be a coincidence, can it? No, said Harry. We've been given a warning. And it wasn't very nice.